Hi, Andy.
Hi.
We haven't seen too much of Bundy yet this series. He's obviously coming in at 12. What's kind of thinking behind that?
Well, I hope you see a lot of him on Saturday. He's chomping at the bit to get going. Well, I mean, we think this is a fantastic partnership there with Bundy and Ringer coming in. Obviously, they're fresh. Robbie Henshaw has a little bit of a tweak to a hamstring that's made him sit out and just be nursed at the beginning of the week. Could he be fit towards the end of the week? He probably could, but obviously that goes along with your thinking also. And obviously Stuart McCluskey he's out injured and has gone back up the road to Ulster.
A lot of people say he has his biggest games against South Africa for whatever reason.
Let's hope so. Who says that? Yeah, I hope so. If they could get in touch with Bundy, that would help. He's a big game player, isn't he? I mean, look at the experience he's got. He 100% would be hoping that his character fits these type of occasions. So again, he's got to go out there and prove it like everyone else.
Just last one for me. Tom Farrell on the bench, obviously, it's huge for him as well. I don't really know what the question is. Otherwise,
no. Yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, he's. It's been a big month for him, like coming in to camp and getting his first camp, and having a week or two to digest that. And we said when he was making his debut that he's been excellent. The difference compared to when he's been in all those years ago is like chalk and cheese, really. So that's continued, and he'll be itching to get on and show what he can do in a big game.
Thanks. Will. Hi, Andy. Start 15, was this a particularly tough one to call? Was there a lot of changes made that maybe were kind of very fine?
Yeah, and that's exactly what you want, and that's how it should be. Obviously, there's all sorts of stuff that comes into play. Injuries, like I've just talked about, the opposition and the freshness of the squad and where you think that's at. But I suppose the opposition's got quite a bit to do with it as well.
It was one of those tough calls between Sam and Jack, and was that a decision that you want to see maybe a little bit more from Sam on the defensive side of his game and his physicality?
I mean, I understand the question, and it's a question that obviously keeps popping up now. But I think Sam's ability as a fly half far outweighs a work on within his game. I thought he was tremendous last week. His skill set is been fantastic for all to see, and I think everyone needs to look through a little bit of a work on, because everyone's got work-ons and will continue to have work-ons throughout, and that's up to us as coaches and the rest of the players to keep on working on them.
And finally then, would a win over South Africa kind of make the series, or was it more about learning from the series, the players that you chose? Say, for instance, Matt could pull back and the options.
Yeah, it's been good on finding out about people and seeing where we're at, and I suppose this will give us a lot more idea, wouldn't it, to see where we're at. We've been talking a lot about resilience within our game over the 80 minutes, and there's been some learnings from that along the way, and that was pretty good last week. I suppose that'll get tested to the fore, won't it, this weekend? So I don't think we're just learning about individuals. We're learning about our game and how we're going to progress with that over the next couple of years. Thanks.
Neil, then Peter.
Hi, Andy. Obviously the defensive stand is like a work on as part of the wider game, but is it something you've specifically kind of spoken to him about around technique, about body position?
Neil, like that. Obviously, I understand your question again, but the loaded questions, like, you know what I mean, because then it's obvious that we have to talk about that. Like, but your question could be asked about any single player throughout. Of course, we constantly talk to individuals about all aspects of the play. So to think that we're just focusing on one aspect of one player is not right, because for example, I spoke to our two leaders yesterday about certain aspects of their game. I'm talking about Kevin and Dan Sheehan now, world-class players, and they agree with the work-ons. You know what I mean? So it is constant throughout for every single member of every single squad in World Rugby.
And just on around this, the penalty count has kind of been reasonable enough in this window, but
Not good enough at times, though. You know, the flow of certain aspects and
specifically maybe like where the penalties are coming.
yeah, and recognition of where we're at within the game. 19-7, 2 minutes before half time, isn't an ideal situation to give 2 penalties away on the trot and then concede a try on the back of that. So it's recognition of all that, and you're right. The penalty counts, when you look at the end of the game, you'd say they've been average enough or just okay. But it's the continuity of ill discipline at certain times that needs to be addressed, and it's something that we've talked about.
Thanks, Peter. Andy, if you think back to the first half in Durban or Ronan Kelleher's first hit at the World Cup,
Yeah.
Is that the sort of physicality that you're demanding this weekend?
Well, it has to be. Yeah, it has to be a given, because I think, Peter, if you don't show up with that frame of mind, you're on the backward steps straight away, aren't you? You know, it is an absolute given in any single Test match, that's for sure. But certainly, it's highlighted even more so against the best team in the world in this moment in time, and what is part of their DNA has continued to be part of their DNA throughout, and it's only getting better, isn't it? That the collision work and the carrying and the contact area. So if you don't turn up in that regard, you're in for a tough afternoon, that's for sure.
And especially given the nature, the way in which you conceded tries against Australia.
Yeah, that's true. It's something that we've talked about and trying to address, like a few other things. But yeah, you're right to highlight that.
Last couple of questions in this section. Kieran, then William.
Andy, just on that physicality, everything you have to get right technically this weekend. How much?
Well, I think we've got a few good aspects of our game that hopefully can cause them a few bits of trouble as well. And you know, our attention to detail and our subtleties within our game is something that we pride ourselves on. So understanding how that can manipulate an opponent is always going to be part of our way forward.
Just on the kind of physicality to expect, how much of it comes down purely to mindset, being at the right kind of emotional pitch, and how do you try to tune up that across the week?
It is 100%. It is, and making sure that you're level-headed enough to see what it is that's coming in front of you, because you know, let's be right. It's not as though they're just coming in once. They've got some box of tricks in the backs as well, and they've got some nice subtlety in how they play in attack, and that's continued to grow as well. So it's not just about just fronting up; it's about decision making and making sure that we're able to see the pitches in front of us, and when the contact has to be made, that we're in a good enough position to be able to do that.
Just last question in the live section, William.
Talk to me about Cian Prendergast. He seems to be pushing his way in there. He's on the bench again. He's had 2 good performances off the bench. It's a big opportunity for him on Saturday.
It is like the whole month has been for many people. You know, Nick Timoney has been in fantastic form. He's very unfortunate to miss out, and obviously you get to a decision in regards to that because of the formation of how the pack could look along the way. So he's unfortunate to miss out, and I suppose Cian and Nick are in a similar position, that they've been on the fringes coming into camp and out of camp for the last number of years now. But they see this as their time, and we've seen signs of that 100% over the last 5 weeks, certainly within camp. So we've been pleased with how he's been going. We've been pleased with his energy and his want to make a difference when he gets on the field. So it's a step in the right direction, that's for sure.